First of all, in case of MFIs, which are following this GLG model or Grameen model, I think urban areas are also different. One is urban areas like metros, which
Metro is different from a small city.
yeah, because
A town is
what is
different.
happening is the ground reality is the MFIs, in order to achieve big growth rates, they're going to areas which are for them also convenient to reach. As Radhika was saying about infrastructure, whether banking infrastructure is available, roads are available, and all. So, as Mr. Natarajan was just raising, there is a big concern of multiple lending because these convenient areas are convenient for everyone, and all the MFIs are concentrating on these areas, like semi-urban areas or marketplaces or rural areas. Where the cash flow is also good. As you were saying, that these areas generate lots of cash flows. Trade activities are there, market is there, so they can make use of their funds and give back to you also. And things like kite flying, that taking loan from one and repaying to other, has become a very serious issue, which is debated in almost all workshops, conferences, everywhere. So how do you stop that? How do you track where the loan is going? Because funds are fungible. I mean, you can't track where the money is deployed. It's only if you share the data of your clients, who are your clients, whether there's a duplication of lending, whether you are over lending to someone. That's a serious issue. On paper it is all well that an MFI goes and check what the client is doing or whether the client is in position to repay or not. But what happens is when your staff has huge targets of reaching out to at least each field staff at least 600 or 700 clients, then it becomes almost impossible to go and track each and every client. So the need of the hour is to now focus on some social responsible areas, whether you are responsibly lending or not. It should not be just about your margins, your profits.
No, but coming back to the SHG thing, why don't these MFIs become agents for the banks, like business correspondents, and promote SHGs also in urban areas? And maybe the loan size can be bigger.
And
that is the problem.
And then yes, that's the problem.
The loan sizes, they need bigger loan sizes.
Yes.
So maybe why don't we are able to adapt this SHG bank linkage to urban areas also in various cities. Cities are also graded now A, B, C, and also. So there can be different layers of SHG.
Sure.
And
sure.
different
Basically,
adaptations.
you're talking about talked about business correspondent model.
Because this problem is coming up. At the end of the day, these MFIs are basically focused on lending.
Sure.
And he has already pointed out the moral hazards of that.
Yes.
Which means that in urban areas you need more of a government supported model, maybe, which is not very focused on making profits or expanding their markets. So maybe the MFI model itself is very unsuited to the urban areas. What do you think?
No, I would not agree with that MFI model is not suited. What is required is some kind of check and balances. See, whichever model has become successful is because of its commercial viability. Take any industry, whether it's telecom or pharma or anything. When there is a profit element, when it is commercially viable, then only it is scalable. See, so many government programs, just because they were not very commercially viable, they could not scale up. A similar thing is happening with bank SHG model also. So MFI model definitely has this positive that it's a commercially viable, and that is why we are seeing almost 100% growth rates. Every year we are seeing the sector is getting doubled. But yeah, to counter the moral hazard or to the negatives of it, there could be some checks and balances. Rating agencies are one. There could be some regulation from the government side on at least bringing transparency to the sector. Right now we are talking about interest rates, and he was having some difficulty in quoting the interest rate, monthly, weekly, yearly, flat rate, declining rate, then there are charges, then there are security deposits. All that together in MFI sector, the interest rates, what is told is around 12 or 15% flat, but it comes to 35-40%. It ranges from 30 to 40%. So bringing transparency and fair practices is the need of the hour. Coming to this bank correspondent model, initial difficulties were from the regulator side. That as you were mentioning that you cannot charge more than this rate. So banks were not enthusiastic when they cannot charge more than PLR and they have to pay to their agents also. It doesn't make sense that they hire so many agents and pay them and then again charge only PLR. It's not very profitable. And then they were also reluctant because they were not having much faith. If they have to lend, they want to appraise their clients themselves. They can't just leave it on to someone else to do the appraisal. In fact, MFI sector has also failed to some extent in the sense they are not able to generate good amount of confidence in the government sector. Because there has been some malpractices from their side. There's lots of bad publicity which MFI sector has also got. In fact, recently there were issues of promoters using trust or mutual benefit trust of members to gain lots of money, capital gains from private equity and all. And in fact, our own study states that even though the expense ratio of MFIs have come down, you can see this is starting from 2002, it came from almost 19% to 11.5%. This is the administrative expenses. But if you look at the interest rates, it is almost going up. See the gap. See, this is the issue. Then private equity players and money making players have come in.
They're also raising funds from the capital market.
Yes, and huge capital gains. You're talking about.
So which means that there is also it's adrift in another sense also, in the sense that they are actually adrift from their mission.
Yeah. So the point is, government is also very cautious. The facilitation has to go hand in hand with the regulation. So and the regulation, when it comes to regulation, then the players are apprehensive of that. The MFIs, the NBFCs are crying foul. If NABARD is made the regulator, they're saying already RRB and cooperative banks are not regulated by NABARD properly. How can they regulate us? And when they are lending themselves, how can they be a regulator? So all that constraint, and I think government is in dilemma what to do and what not to do. So that's why it's taking lots of time. But as you have said, this is very much required that there is a paper which facilitates all kind of services to reach to the lower income families.